Hello everyone. In this video, let's discuss about the kth largest factor of n. Let's go for the problem statement. A positive integer d is said to be a factor of another positive integer n if when n is divided by d, the remainder obtained is 0. So if the value n is divided by the value d and if I get my remainder as 0, then I can say it as a factor. For example, for number 12, there are 6 factors 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. So 1 is divisible by 12, 12 is divisible by 1, 12 is divisible by 2, 12 is divisible by 3, 12 is divisible by 4, 12 is divisible by 6 and 12 is divisible by 12. So in all the cases, I will get my remainder value as 0. For every positive integer k has at least 2 factors, 1 and the number k itself. For example, let me take any integer value. For that value, I will be having at least 2 factors, which is 1 and the same number. Given 2 positive integers n and k, write a program to find the kth largest factor of n. So here, if I give my input value as 12, I need to find the third largest factor. What is the third largest factor? 4. 4 is my answer. So this is the question. So for this question, I am going to use the logic which you have learnt in Divine Devices. So in Divine Devices, you will be printing all the factors in the sorted order. So I am going to use the same logic for solving this question as well. Let's go for the input format. The input is a comma separated list of positive integers, integer pair n comma k. So they have given 2 integer values n and k. N is an integer value and k is the kth largest factor I need to find. The output format. The kth highest factor of n. If n does not have k factors, the output should be 1. For example, if the value of n doesn't have k factors, kth factor, I can say that the output should be 1. They have given constraints. So this is one of the most important thing I have to check whenever I'm going for any competitive coding. Let's find the constraints. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the constraint value of n is 10 power 10. I should write a program which meets this constraint and the value of k will be 600. You can assume that n will have no prime factors which are larger than 12. Okay, they have given the input value n as 12 and I need to find the third largest factor. So the first largest factor is 12, second largest factor is 6 and the third largest factor is 4. That is why I will be getting my answer as 4. This is the question. Now let's go for the logic of the program. So I know how to find the factors. For the number 12, I can say I'll take the I value, I'll start the I value with 1. If 1 is divisible by 12, I can say n by I is also a factor. So 1 into 12. Next, when I go for 2, when 2 is divisible by, when 12 is divisible by 2, I can say n by I is also a factor. 6 is also a factor. When 3 is divisible by, 12 is divisible by 3, so n by I, which is 4, is also a factor. And I will be iterating this loop up to square root of n. What is square root of n? 3 point something, I can say it is 3. So on just 3 iterations, I've got all the factors. So this is the logic I'll be doing. So how to find the kth largest factor? So what I'll be doing in the sense, when 12 is divisible by 1, I'll be incrementing a count value. So here I'll be incrementing count value as 1, 2 and 3. Okay. So let me take the value as 12 as an example and I'll start the iteration. I value is 1. So check whether 12 is divisible by 1. Yes. If it is divisible, I'll increment my count value and I'll check whether my count value equal to k. If my count value is equal to k, I'll print n by I. I'll print n by I as my answer. If count value is not equal to k, I'll insert the value I in my vector. Then I'll go for the next iteration. So I value is 2. Check whether 12 is divisible by 2. Yes, of course. Now check count value. Now count value becomes 2. Check count value is equal to 3. Count value equal to k value is 3, right? Count value equal to 3? No. So in this case, I'll insert the value of I in my vector. Then because I'm checking these conditions, I'm checking n by I. That is why I'm inserting I in my vector. then I value will be 3. Okay, I'll increment my count value equal to k. Yes, count value is 3 and k value is also 3. In that case, what will I do in the sense, I'll print n by I. What is n by I value? N value is 12, I value is 3. N by I, the value 4 will be printed as my output value. What if the k value is 5? For the same program, what if the k value is 5? Let's repeat the logic once again. So what I have to do, I have to check one condition. The condition is nothing but count equal to k. Okay, so k value is 5. Let me give my k value is 5. Here what I'm going to do in the sense, I'm going to start my iteration from 1. Check whether 12 is reduced by 1. Yes, of course. If it is reduced by 1, I'll increment my count value to 1 and I'll be checking count value and k value are equal. Both are not equal. If it is equal, I'll print n by I. So here it is not equal, just I'll store the value I in my vector or an array, whatever you want you can take. Vector is nothing but dynamic array. So next value of I will be incremented by 1, which becomes 2. Check whether 12 is reduced by 2. Yes, of course. Now check, increment my count value. Check count value is equal to k. No. So if it is not equal, what I have to do? I have to insert the value of I in my vector. Then I value will be incremented by 1, which becomes 3. Count value is also 3. 3 equal to k? No. Condition is not true. So what I'll be doing? I'll be inserting the value I in my vector and the count value is 3. And when I go for the next iteration, I value becomes 4. It will come out of the loop. Still, I have not find the kth factor, which means that this is not out of these 3 values. None of the values are matching the kth largest factor. So out of 6 factors, I have checked only 3 factors. Out of 6 factors, I have checked only 3 factors. I didn't check the remaining 3 factors. So what I'll be doing in the sense, I'll find the difference between k value and the count value. What is my k value? 5. And what is my count value? 3. So which is 2. So what I'll be doing in the sense, I'll find the size of the vector. What is the size of the vector? 3. So I'll find the element which is on the index value. This is vector, right? I'll give the vector name as v. I'll find the index value, which is nothing but size of the vector minus this value. Size of the vector minus this value, which is 1. So what is the element present in v of 1? So 0, 1, 2. So the element which is present on the index v of 1 is 2. So 2 is the 5th largest factor for the number 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all my answer. So this is the logic which I've used for divine devices. The same logic I have made small change. That's all. So I'll be comparing with n by I. If it is matching to the k value, I'll print it. If that is not equal, I have checked only half of the factors. I need to check the remaining half of the factors. For that, what I have to do in the sense, I need to find the difference between k value and the count value. Okay. So because I'm going to fix the position, I'm going to find the position which is present in the vector. After finding the difference, what I have to do in the sense, in the vector of, I'm going to calculate the index value. How to calculate the index value in the sense, total size of the vector minus the difference which I have found. On that particular index, I'll get my answer. What if the answer is not present? What if the kth factor is not present? For that, I have read one condition. What is that condition in the sense? If count into 2, which is count value is 3, I'll be having 6 factors. If count into 2 is less than or equal to k value, I can say that the element is not present. I can print my answer as 1. This is the logic for this program. Fine. That's all. Thank you. Hello everyone. In this video, let's discuss how to write a program for kth largest factor of n. And to solve this question, I'm going to use a logic which you have seen it in divine devices. When you go for divine devices, the program is nothing but to find the factors of the given number. let us take an example called 10. If I take the value as 10, in one iteration, I'll be getting two factors, which is 1 and 10. And when I go for the next iteration, I'll be getting 2 and 5. So every iteration, I'll be getting the first factor and the last factor. And when I go for the second iteration, I'll be getting the second factor and the second last factor. And it keeps on goes like this. The same logic, I'm going to use it here to write my program. But here I need to find the kth largest factor. What is my kth largest factor? In sense, the value of k will be given and I need to find the kth largest factor. If the input is 12, I'm going to find the third largest factor. So here the factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. So the biggest number is 12, that is the first factor. Second largest factor is 6 and the third largest factor is 4. Fine. This is the question. So in this question, what I'm going to do in the sense, I'll be storing the factors of 1 and 12 in one iteration, 2 and 6 in the next iteration, 3 and 4 in the next iteration. On every iteration, I'll be storing every 2 values. Fine. Let's start writing the program. As usual, let's start with preprocessor directive. Hash include bit slash std c++.h using namespace std. The execution should always start from the main function. So here let me get the input value from the user, int n. Okay, now I'm calling a function called devices. First let me find the devices. There I'll get the k value from the user. So I'll be passing the value of n and this will return me the value called 0. Now what I have to do? I have to define the function called devices. So this function is not going to return me anything. So I'm going to give the value as, return type as void devices int n. Fine. Here what I'm going to do? I have to get the k value from the user, int k and cin k. I've got the input value from the user. Here I'm going to store first set of factors in the vector. So let me declare vector. I'm going to store only integer values, right? So I should give the type integer and v. And while I'm storing the factor value, I have to increment, right? So I'll give the variable as int count is equal to 0 and index, because I am going to store the value in vector, right? So I'll give it as index. Next, I'll start my iteration. So here I'm going to use the variable called I for loop. So let me declare the variable as I comma k. So finding the factors. So take a loop, I equal to 1, I less than or equal to square root of n, and then I plus plus, because I will not get any factor than square root of n other than the n value. So I am going to check whether the value I is a factor. If the value I is a factor, n by I is also a factor. That is the logic I'm going to use. So first what I'm going to do, I'm checking whether the value I is a factor. If n modulus I equal to 0, which means that the number is a factor. And if the number is a factor, and remember one thing, if the value is a perfect square, let us take the value called 9. So 9 is a perfect square, right? So when I write it in the form 1 into 9, I'll be getting 3 into 3. So 3 has been repeated twice. So I have to remove the duplicates. To remove the duplicate, I have to give one condition. So let me come in here to remove the duplicates. So duplicates occurs only for perfect squares. Duplicate occurs only for perfect squares. So I'm going to give the condition if n/i equal to I, which means that let us take the value of n and let me give it as 3. 9 by 3 equal to 3, because the value of I is still 3, right? So if the value is equal to, which means that this will occur only for perfect squares. In that case, I have to do something. I'll tell you what I have to do. Else, if it is not a perfect, so what I have to do, I'll be incrementing my count value first. and I'll be checking if count value is equal to k, because I'm going to find the kth largest number. So let's take the value called 10. Okay, let us take the value called 10. Let's take it as 12 itself. That will be very easy for us to understand. Let's take the input value 12. So I value is 1. 12 modulus 1 equal to 0. Yes, of course the condition is true. 12 divided by 1 equal to 12. No, condition becomes false. I'll go for else case. I'll increment my count value. Now what is my count value? Count value is 1. 1 equal to k. What is my k value? My k value is 3. 1 is equal to 3? No, 1 is not equal to 3. If that is the case, what I have to do? I'll not do anything. I'll not do anything. So I'll not do anything. What I have to do? 1 and 12. So I was checking only for n by I. I have to insert the value of I into my vector. So how can I insert? V dot pushback I. So in the divine devices, the biggest number I'll be inserting in the vector. Here what I'm going to do, I am going to find the kth largest number. So I'm checking with the biggest number, the smallest number 1 and 12. So here 12 I am comparing, 1 I'm going to insert in my vector. Fine. Then else case got over, and the loop, I mean the if condition got over. Finally the loop got over. Next what happened? Next I value will be incremented by 1, which becomes 2. I value will be incremented by 1, which becomes 2. So square root of 12 is 3 point something. So up to 3 the loop will be iterated. So 12 modulus 2 equal to 0. Yes, of course the condition is true. If the condition is true, check whether do I have duplicates or not. 12 divided by 2 whether equal to I? No, I value is 2. 12 by 2 I'll be getting the quotient value 6. 6 equal to 2, condition becomes false. I'll go for else. I'll increment my count value. Now count value becomes 2. Count equal to k? No, condition becomes false. So 6 is also not the answer. 6 is not the third largest factor for the number 12. I'll be inserting the value 2 in my vector. Afterwards what happened? The I value will be incremented by 1, which becomes 3. 3 less than or equal to 3, condition is true. Check whether 3 is a factor or not. 12 modulus 3 equal to 0. Yes, of course the condition is true. I'll enter inside. I'll check whether do I have any duplicates. 12 by 3 the value is 4. 4 equal to 3. No, condition is not true. I'll go inside. Count value will be incremented by 1. Count value becomes 3. 3 equal to 3. Yes, of course the condition is true. If the condition is true, what I have to do? I have to print n by I value, because when I check one number, I'll be say I told you already, n I is also a factor, n by I is also a factor. The same divine devices logic. Here I'm comparing only n by I value. What about the I value? I value I'm storing it in the vector. So here n by I I'm printing. After printing, let me come out of the loop, because I've got my answer. Let me come out of the loop. What if the value is a perfect square? Let me take the value of n is equal to 9. I need to find the second largest number. So 1, 9 count value will be 1. 1 equal to 2. Condition is false. I'll go for the next iteration. I value becomes 2. 2 is not a factor. I value becomes 3. 9 by 3 equal to I. Yes, of course this condition is true. If the condition is true, what I'll be doing? Here I'll be incrementing my count value. After incrementing my count value, I'll be checking the condition. If count equal to k, what I have to do? I have to print the answer. See out either n by I or I, both are the same answer. So I'll print the values I. After printing I have to break the loop. This is what I have to do when this condition is true, when it is a perfect square. Now my question is, what if the count value is 4 in this case? What if the count value is 4 in this case? So count value is 3. I have got the answer. Now let's increment my I value. I value becomes 4. 4 less than or equal to 3, condition becomes false. I'll come out of it. What if my k value is 4? Instead of 3, what if my k value is 4? So I have got only 3 numbers, right? So the remaining 3 numbers I have stored it in the vector. So from the vector I have to get the answer. From the vector I have to get the answer. How to get the value from the vector? The logic is very simple, which is I have just closed only the for loop. not the entire devices function. So if count is less than k, what I have to do in the sense, I have to find the index value, which is how to find the index value, count value and k value. K minus count will give me the value of the vector which is present inside there. So I have to give cout vector in vector dot size minus index. I'll get the value of the kth largest factor. So why am I using this here? If count value is less than the k value. Why? Because the count value will be incremented only for the second set of factors. For the first set of factors, it will not be incremented because the first set of factors are stored in a vector. The second set of factors will be checked. What if the kth value is greater than the total number of factors? If the value of k is greater than the total number of factors, what I have to do? I have to print the value as 1. That is what they have given in the question. So if for that I am going to check, let me comment here. If k value is greater than the total number of factors, I have to print 1, right? In that case, how I am going to print in the sense, count into 2, because for every count value I'll be having one more factor. So if count into 2, so every number will have 2 factors. That's what I did, 1 and 10, 2, 5. So if count into 2 is less than or equal to k, or the value of k is less than 0, less than or equal to 0. Okay, if this is the case, what I have to do? I have to print the value as 1. Then I will return from the function. This if condition got over. Finally I have written this if condition also, and finally I have to close the devices function. I missed a semicolon here. That's what it was showing red color here. See, it was showing a red color because of this semicolon. Now it is okay. Sorry, that might be some mistake. So let's check whether there is sufficient amount of brackets. This bracket is for this if condition, this bracket is for this if condition, and this bracket is for, I don't know for which function I have. This if condition got over, else case got over, and for loop got over, and I have given one bracket extra. That is why I was showing some bracket error here. Okay, now when I check this bracket, it will not be showing red color because this is the closing bracket for devices. Fine, so I have done with my brackets. Let's run the code. Few test cases are not getting passed, which is 12, 3. My output is 1. I should get the value as 4. Wait, we'll check. I guess there might be some bracket mistakes. I guess that is the error I'm getting, because we'll check. I have opened for loop, fine, then open if condition, and then open bracket for this if condition, open bracket for this if condition. I have closed here. I've closed this if condition, and actually I've given one more bracket for closing this if condition. Actually this is the condition which is checking whether the number is a factor or not. So this has to be closed once the entire else case got over. Once the entire else case got over. This was a mistake, I guess. Let's compile once again. Yes, it passed all the test cases. That's all.
Hey YouTube, how are you doing? Stay tuned to Facebook for more awesome videos. Don't forget to subscribe.